Welcome to the Great Awakening Ministry. I am Minister and Yogini Joanne Lee. And on this week's show, we have Fotoula Adrimi, BA Honours, is a director of the ISIS School of Holistic Health, an international school of healing arts, spiritual development, and inner transformation through vibrational energy work, enlightened teachings, shamanism, and meditation. She is part of the global network of shamanic teachers under Sandra Ingerman. Since 2014, Fotoula has been serving as a membership secretary and trustee of the Theosophical Society, the Glasgow Lodge. Fotoula lives and works in Glasgow, Scotland, and she has taught in Germany and the Netherlands and has led spiritual pilgrimages to Egypt. Her first book, The Golden Book of Wisdom, Ancient Spirituality and Shamanism for Modern Times, is an Amazon UK bestseller. Her second book, Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, The Ancient Path of Heka Initiation, is published by O Books and lifts the veil on esoteric Egypt and the ancient mystical school.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Fotoula, I would love to just welcome you to the Great Awakening show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. It's wonderful to be here.
Lovely. And it's wonderful for you to have written your beautiful books, and especially this beautiful book, Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, The Ancient Path of Heka Initiation. So, wow. Can you just please tell us, our audience, the mysticism of ancient Egypt, we all know that. But what is the ancient path of Heka? What does Heka mean?
Heka means remembering that we are this creative power of the universe, that is divine order, that is justice, that is everything is as it's meant to be, and everything is it happens through unconditional love. So when we remember that, we remember ourselves as the creator Ra, the shining being. So it's a path that the ancient initiates of Egypt worked on to really recall who they are, that they are this shining spirit beyond the body, but they brought that spirit into their body. They said that before they lived before they became an initiate, they lived like a life of sleepwalking. And the initiation was a gateway into becoming again the gods we are on the earth.
Wow. So it's like a spiritual rebirth, the initiation of becoming the spiritual energy body, the spirit, the gods, yes, the goddess within.
Yes, absolutely. And this rebirth and resurrection, because their whole system was to do with resurrection after death into the spirit, and resurrection from the inert state, they called it, from the state of sleepwalking into the spirit in the body. So yes, very much, and rebirth through this cycle of eras that we live through collectively and throughout the planet, the different eras we have, and also through our lifetime, we meet different eras, from being the baby, from coming into teenager, and then awakening hopefully into the spiritual being as we realize that we are more than the mind.
Yes, more than this flesh and body, more than this, that's what this great awakening is. And everyone will go through that, at some point. That's beautiful. So that's what Heka means. And I mean, the Egyptians are just fascinating for me. The history, the Egyptians, and what you talk about, please tell us about the golden times of human history described, in your book, because in yoga, you were talking about the eras, the yugas, the eras, which they say the golden time is Satya, isn't it, in Sanskrit. And what can we learn from that helps us in our times? Because aren't we coming into a time of the golden time? Like, are we coming into a golden age?
Yes, basically, the ancient Egyptians said that these eras are cyclical, they're not linear. It's a bit like the different, if you like, the different seasons that we experience. It's the same with the eras, they come back, and each era has different gifts to give us. So we might say right now we're living through a very hard era that is like the era of corruption. But they said that this era of corruption actually is a very difficult path, but it's also a path where the grinding of the diamond takes place. They didn't say grinding of the diamond. They said that the gifts for the soul are much more in this year, much more potential. There is so much potential for awakening through these difficult times that we live through. So in the bigger picture, every era, even this difficult time, has a lot to offer us. And one of the things that it has to offer us is that we had the golden times. We remember maybe in our cells, maybe as a cell memory, maybe as a soul memory, what it is to live in this complete harmony and in touch with everything and in oneness. What it is, actually, we know deep down and we yearn for that, but we've lost it. And now we're looking to get it back. And this journey of losing that which we had and then finding again, it's a journey of grace, because the gift, when we come again back to that time, when we reclaim it for ourselves and when we savor that gift of awakening, it's an immense gift for the soul and a gift for grace. Imagine, having something, living through that thing, that's my normal state, and then you lose it, and then when you find it again, oh my goodness, what a gift that is. So this is something like that happening now in our times, that so many people experiencing awakening and finding that blissful state of being instead of doing and be and thinking all the time.
That's so true. And that's just the same as in the yogic philosophy, to have that awakening, that oneness in the body now, instead of waiting until we die. Religion and Christianity says, you wait, when you die, you'll go to heaven. But we can have that now in our body now. We can go within and have that Christ, Buddha, Krishna, the Egyptian, that consciousness, that blissful state of being, of that oneness, can't we?
Yes, we can. And that was the golden times. People had that. So it is absolutely possible for us to reclaim that again, because it's part of us. So this first time, the ancient Egyptians, they call it Zeb Tepi, meaning the first era, the first time. Wow. And they give us clues about what happened during this time, how did humanity live, and what was our consciousness. And so there's very interesting myths that when we go deeper, they describe exactly what was our level of consciousness, how did we feel, how did we live during that time, the first time. And of course, in the sacred mysticism of Egypt, I describe also the temples, and that they are built as a complete plan. It's not something that the Egyptian pyramids and temples are not just built just randomly. It's very much, everything has been done to a big plan to create heaven on earth. So it's not just connection with ourselves and the earth, but connection with the cosmos. So it is that cosmic part of us that they are very interested in ancient Egypt, and they are trying to come into contact with and activate that knowledge. Wow. And that is part of ancient Egypt. It's everywhere. And it's in the pyramid texts and in the Book of the Dead, and it's everywhere. cosmic side is very important. And in the book, I have some of ceremonies. I describe ceremonies and practices that people can do to come into contact with the cosmos as they practiced in ancient Egypt.
Wow, that's amazing. Because that's the goal, isn't it, Fotoula? The whole goal is to bring heaven on earth.
Yes.
And so the veil between the spiritual and the physical thins, and we merge into our spiritual energy bodies, which is the truth, which is the truth of us, and you know, and heaven shall prevail on earth. That's amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we can go back to that. And even today, when we go to Egypt and we travel to the pyramids and we go into the ancient temples, we sometimes can feel the portals opening, these heavenly portals opening, because ancient Egyptians said we have actually left this for the children of the future, and the children of the future are us, who have been, you know, in this spiritual journey. You know, all of us, we have a spiritual journey, and maybe some of these portals can meet us. So sometimes we go to Egypt and we come back a little bit different, especially if we go there to do spiritual work, which is not very easy, but the space opens sometimes, and the gifts come.
Wow, that's just beautiful. That is so amazing. And I mean, I love Isis, the goddess Isis. Yeah. I mean, you know, she was a powerful, enlightened, divine being. She practiced magic. She gave the promise of life beyond death in the Egyptian mystery schools, the temples of Isis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's honestly, I really feel a deep connection with Isis and Mary Magdalene, but I feel, you know, because we've all had, you know, we can all actually tap in to Isis's energy, can't we? And in your book, The Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, you describe how the goddess Isis opens the path to the spiritual ascension through the universal power called Heka that we just discussed.
Yeah.
How can we connect with Isis and ask for this beautiful gift?
So what happened to me was that Isis had been my helping spirit since I was a child. I remembered her, but Mother Mary was more prominent at that time. Maybe I needed more the love, more the mother at that time, mother energy. And I had been psychic since I was a child, but then things changed. But when I became 30, I opened into the spiritual path, and then Isis came very prominently and asked me to be her teacher, and she showed me the lives I lived in ancient Egypt, and she talked about Heka, and Heka, and this process of initiation is something that it's open to everybody, because in ancient Egypt there was, you know, in the golden times particularly, and before the corruption came later on in the New Kingdom, in the golden times, this path was open to everyone who wanted to go and be initiated. So it didn't matter who you were, rich or poor, or your father was a priest or your mother was a priestess. You could go there. And there was a 2-year sort of preparation time where you received an initial initiation, and you started working with the energy bodies, working with the chakra system, working with different gates, and serving the temple. And then if you wanted to go further, you could actually ask to be initiated into the priesthood. And what happened then was the weighing of the heart. So the weighing of the heart is a very ancient ceremony. It's described, of course, in the Book of the Dead, because that is, you know, in the way of becoming aware of our life. But it's also the part of the initiation, is part of the priesthood. In every stage of the priesthood is the weighing of the heart. So the scales are there. Is your heart as light as the feather, or are you carrying a weight? Are you carrying a burden, you know, that you have to first heal? These are things that you need to heal. And what you need to heal first is the trauma and the ego. and the ego mind. Because for the heart to be light, to be as light as the feather, you have to really integrate this ego mind and come from that wise heart that is unconditional love, but also is power, is incredible power. So the way to Heka for the ancient Egyptians was, first of all, live a very ethical life. I could say that's not according to our to the laws of our government, but to the laws of the divine, even.
Yeah.
Live a very ethical life, and contact with nature, because you will find Heka in nature, because nature is in divine order. We humans are finding our own divine order, but nature is very, very much more aware than we are, because nature exists. This silent knowledge is there.
That's right.
But we cannot hear that voice most of the time. And then the priests and priestesses would go through this initiation, and I described that initiation in the book. So the teachers would wear the masks and the regalia of the enlightened beings. They will merge shamanically. They will become one with these enlightened beings. So when you looked at the priestess who was channeling Isis, you saw Isis. You saw you saw Anubis, you saw Thoth. They were there. And the initiate would go with a papyrus, the name in hieroglyphs, and the symbol of Ib, the heart. And he would put that, or she would put that on the scale. And then the priestess of Mat, with the headdress of the feather, the ostrich feather, would take the feather and then put it on the scale. And if the scales were balanced, you were accepted. And if not, if the feather fell down, or the scales were not balanced, then she would channel Mat and told you how you can be the servant of Mat. Because to take initiation into the mysteries means that you become the servant of truth and justice. So in some way, your mind might say, well, I want to do this, or, I don't care about it. I just want to do that. But in that, you really have to think, my free will, in some way, I surrender that to the divine. So I surrender my ego to the divine.
Yeah.
So serving truth and justice is not easy. It's not easy. And when I teach nowadays, it's very different, because we don't have this type of initiations. Isis comes through me. I call her Iset in her ancient Egyptian name. And she comes through, and she does the initiation for the person. And what she does is that she says, I raise your vibration so that you can merge with me and be, come into contact with the light of the world, so you can remember that you are that light. And then there is a process of personal work, and a process, also very deep process of working with the light, because he has given me Heka that comes in terms of chants and ceremonies, and some of them I remembered, but she also showed me how to do these ceremonies in our times now. So there is a huge body of work that she has given me. Part of that, the part that I could share, because another rule in the mysteries is to be very aware what you can share through with the people who are initiated, so they can understand. They have the initiation, the Heka, the power flows through them, and how this can be a very respectful process for each person's body, because the energy is very, very strong. The energy that comes from ancient Egypt is really strong, and our body is not used to this kind of energy. I mean, I had done so much work before, and when Isis came, I was just like, almost like flat down, couldn't move, because these forces are real, are very real. And also we have a process of of evolution. And sometimes, we don't want to go into a crisis. We don't want to feel this is too much for me. All these things are coming up. All my trauma is resurfacing. It has to be done in a very respectful way. So I would say for the people who really want to do it, there is a process in the book that I have included in the book that goes through the rememberment. So Osiris, as we know in the myth, the good person who is in sovereignty is cut into 14 pieces, is dismembered. And that's in every one of us. Life has dismembered us. And in the initiation process,
you call them parts back to you. You call the parts of your soul back to you that you've given away through people, places, and experiences. Yeah, wow.
Yes. So absolutely. So in ancient Egypt, the priest would actually, or the priestess would lie in the sarcophagus saying, I have been cut in all these pieces. I'm now dead. And then Isis and her opposite Nephthys will come together and bring the energy, and all these parts of you are coming back together, and they call you back energetically back to life. And so you are, from being dismembered, you are remembered.
Your whole, yes.
Yeah. So that initiation is in the book, and Isis can really come to you because she's so close. This is not some sort of god or goddess who wants to be worshipped. She never asks for anything. She just says that I come unconditionally. And she asks the same from us, saying, don't ask me to tell you the lottery numbers or else you won't work with me. She offers everything unconditionally. And my experience is of a being with so much love. And that is the difference. Sometimes people say, how do you know Isis is actually helping you, or it's a good being? And it's not, because it's that quality that once you start to channel and you feel her power and her energy, you're filled with so much love that you've never felt before, because it's divine love. It's not really exists in our human world in that unconditional way. And that lifts you and lifts your awareness as well. So the lotus flower that they have in Egypt is a symbol both of awakening and unconditional love.
And they have that in yoga, in the yoga one as well. It's about the lotus flower, because it grows in the dirty, mucky water, in the mud, like our ignorance and our ego, and then it comes up and it grows and it grows and it grows. It goes up to the light and it pushes out the most beautiful flower of enlightenment.
Yeah. So I think the ancient Egyptians, there is so many similarities, and I think people almost like if we go really back before Egypt, my belief and what I have seen is that ancient Egypt starts in Atlantis.
Yes.
And I feel that knowledge was there. And then with the fall of Atlantis, it went into the different places to different people. One of these places was Egypt. So there are so many similarities. And one of my very dear friends, and he's a shaman from Nepal, and his whole family, just like I think it's 27 or 29 generations of shamans. I can't quite remember. He comes from the Sanskrit tradition, but he wrote the preface the foreword in the book because he is aware, of course, of the Satya time that you introduced, you talked about, and yoga and the Sanskrit tradition. So they have these teachings there. It's very, very similar teachings.
Yeah.
So we can all work together. We don't have to compete, saying, this is the ancient Egypt different.
No, that's right.
The more we come together, the better things we can create together.
Yeah. Because there's only one creator, God, goddess, together.
Yeah.
And all of the beautiful gods and goddesses, that are helping, humanity. So it doesn't matter whatever you believe in. every way is sacred as long as it's in love, and it brings you to the initiation, it brings you to awakening, you know, because there's only one stream of spiritual divine love light energy. Yeah, there's only one stream. It comes from the most high. So yes, and when we realize that, you know, our soul is a part of that, and that's where the oneness comes. We all share that. We all share the same soul, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. Is the I'm actually teaching on Sunday this webinar on the introduction to the mysteries, and I'm focusing on Ra. And what he says in the pyramid text is that I am the primordial matter, and everything I create is this from this soul that comes out of the abyss and to manifest in this world. And this soul spreads into all these trillions of beings. Is the same soul.
That's it. Wow. And, you know, different traditions in different countries and different cultures have, you know, their way of describing it, but they're all describing the same thing. Christianity and, you know, ancient Egypt and all the Rosicrucians, the Gnostics, the Buddhists, it's all the same energy. You know, it's all the same thing. It's amazing. Wow. And so, and we can all ask, how do we ask Isis for this gift?
Yes. So for me, I think it's a bit more difficult to answer this kind of question because Isis came to me, so I didn't have to ask.
Yes.
Of course, when she came and she said, "Will you do this? Will you be my teacher?" I had no idea what it meant, so I just said yes, because who would say no? I mean, I just said yes in ignorance, and then I have been working ever since with her non-stop pretty much. But I think for somebody who really wishes from their heart to receive the initiation and put both feet on their spiritual path, it's really good to make that commitment to say, I wish to walk the path of my heart, the path of my soul. Before I came to incarnate on this earth, my soul was so excited to come and live this life. It's like a great gift for my soul to be here on the earth. When I came here on the earth, I forgot about this gift. Maybe other things came in. Maybe I thought sometimes, what am I doing here? What is the purpose of my soul? What is the purpose of my life? But right now, I wish to come back to that moment and call to myself this excitement of being here on earth at this during these changing times. Yeah. It's a very important time, and make the commitment. And when you make the commitment, ask for help. But when you ask help from a good place, help is always there. And Isis is so close, and she opens the doors of life for you. Now, when the doors open, it is our responsibility to walk through the door, because these beings of light do not say you must do it. You know, you have to do it, otherwise, you know, you're not the good person or whatever. It's nothing like that. It's always an invitation. She says, I open the door of this spiritual path and I invite you to walk and put your feet there. So people, after they do this simple connection, this simple can do a little ritual at home. They can, you know, smudge themselves or put some incense to really connect, whatever helps them connect, whatever helps us go into the heart and make the decision and speak that, and then stay open and then see what happens and keep feeding that. So sometimes we can have guiding dreams. A lot of people who come and find me, they say, I had a dream about Isis. I had a dream about you. People dream about me, even they maybe have seen me once or maybe not at all. And then they find me and they said, I had a dream about you and Isis. And Isis said to me, I have to work with you. And I said, how can I work with you, Isis? And they said, you have to find This is my teacher. Find my teacher, and she will help you. But it doesn't matter. You can also have, of course, we all have our direct connection, and that's my work. Is not to actually, just give you the teaching, but to help anybody who wants to have a direct connection, because these beings of light come to us individually, and there is no middle person. For me, there's never been middle person.
Direct connection.
It's
And that's beautiful. And I truly believe, that's such a beautiful way to initiate and to ask them to believe. You've got to believe in her. You've got to believe in Isis. You've got to ask her, come into my life, Isis. Come in and teach me. I'm ready to be taught your mystical ways, your magic, and it's to teach me, and then I will give it out and teach others to benefit humanity.
That is the key. That is the key. That is the altruistic, if you like, intention, that I'm here to learn from you, Isis, to learn about these ways, so that I can help maybe my world, help other people, help the land, help whatever I can. And then when we come from that heartful connection, then the doors open. And that is really interesting. It brings me to when I first wanted to explore my lives, do a past life regression. I talk about in Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, that a friend of mine who was much more aware, it was in the beginning, and he said to me, you need to do a past life regression to see your life in the golden times of ancient Egypt. So I tried to do that by myself. And as I was going there, this voice said, why do you want to come and see your past life? Why do you want to see what happened in these golden times? And my answer at the time was, because my friend said it might be useful for me to see it. And then I was right back. There was just like the connection went, everything went. I couldn't see anything. And so I tried again, and I thought, I need to really go deep. Why do I really want to go there? And I said, I really want to come and see the golden times of ancient Egypt, so that I can take something back from that will help our world now. And then everything opened, which was so, so beautiful. And I think when people come from the heart, and we all have the heart, there is no human being that doesn't have a divine soul that is unconditional love, no matter what we have done. It's the rest is just the story. We just go and start again. Every day is a new beginning.
Exactly.
And go into that heart, and then ask, and then follow the omens, follow the signs. Try not to, and even if you don't follow the signs, even if it takes you, 5-10 years, it doesn't matter. Time doesn't matter. There's still a next day. So just go through that door when it opens.
Wow, that's absolutely beautiful. It's so true. Ask and believe and come from the heart. Wow. And you speak about the goddess Isis, and that's how, yes, and offering you the teachings, and you've just told us all about that, and that's how you channel Isis. I just love her. I just think she's such a powerful icon for women today. Mother Mary was beautiful, but very passive and very, we all have the white goddess, which I portray as Mother Mary, but we all have the dark goddess, which I portray as Isis, because and Mary Magdalene as well. She's a dark one, but we all have that because we come from the oneness into this world of duality. So you can't just be in your white goddess, can you? Everything's wonderful and everything. You have to go into the darkness within yourself. And that's where the light is. That's where the key is. That's where the truth is. You've got to go in there and raise yourself, raise that darkness up to the light, and we have to. That's what it is. It's about getting the dark and the light within us to come into that wholeness, isn't it?
So yes. So for me, Isis is very much a teacher, and she holds a mirror for me. So
Yes,
I see myself. So like you never get away with anything, because
that's right.
she will say, "Look at this. It's what you did here. That's not so hot." So I think, okay, yes, you're right. I can see it. I can really see it. And she shows me when it's like my buttons have been pushed, and what I need to heal. We need to really heal. And right now, Isis said that you can see the suffering of the world out there. You can focus on the environment, you can focus on the animals. Yes, there is a lot of suffering in all these places, but the suffering of the humankind is immense, because we are carrying so much trauma, unresolved trauma from the ancestors.
That's right.
So we are called to do this deep work, and she is holding this very beautiful mirror without any judgment. There is never any judgment, no matter what we do. She says, see, there is never anything. She says, okay, now see what is there for you. And these holes that we fall into are there planned already by our soul and by our path, and is part of the journey of really shedding the old skin. And
Ego, the old skin, yep, the darkness, so that we can be, this being, this it's so beautiful. It's lovely. But that's why, it's like the darkness within is the darkness out there, and the darkness has to come. We have to recognize it. We have to look at it, and we have to embrace that part of us. Because sometimes it's the dark goddess rises up and says, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Speaking up for yourself, speaking up for others, not standing for the corruption in it anymore, going against the tyranny. And, it's important, isn't it?
But I don't actually see that as dark. I see
No,
that
I don't see that as dark.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful, that's what I'm saying. We have to embrace the darkness and the light, because it's all beautiful.
It is, and in what Isis has shown me, and in ancient Egypt, they have this system of awakening, and there are two pillars, and these two pillars are so important, and the whole system Isis gave me again is these two pillars that. Over these two pillars, you have other gates, another 5 gates, 7 in total. But the first two is power and love. And they have to be there together, because if you just have love, just like, okay, I forgive everybody, you can do whatever you want, I love you anyway. Again, we could forgive everybody and we love you anyway, but we have to really love ourselves as well and put those very good boundaries.
That's right.
This is so important, because there cannot be growth if we just do things for others without coming from the heart, just because of obligation, then we build the resentment, then we get disconnected. That's disconnection. But when we actually are in our heart and in our power, and we do something for somebody else, we feel the grace. We feel that is so wonderful. We feel I've helped somebody. It doesn't come from, I must do it because otherwise I'll be a bad person. It's coming from the heart, and it's completely different. So I think Isis has two sides too. She is the mistress of Heka and magic, as you said, magic. In the beginning, the archaeologists in the 18th, 19th century, they described Heka as magic, because they didn't know what it meant. Now they say it's the power of creation. This is like the universal magic of creation, and she can perform miracles of light and bring that everything in balance. So this is a very, very powerful figure. And see, her headdress is called the throne. So we can see Osiris as the king, but she is actually carrying the throne, and the throne is on the crown chakra that says that is when you are in sovereignty. When you are in sovereignty, when your throne is in the crown chakra, you walk this life in your sovereignty.
Wow.
So there is so much symbolism, and there is so much wisdom, even from simple words, what they mean. In the ancient Egyptian language, if we even take them apart, we just realize the wisdom, of that of that language, of those teachings. For example, Horus. Take Horus, and one of his ancient Egyptian names is Horan, and he is married to Hathor or Hathor, but it's two words, Hathor. Now, Hathor means the house of spirit. She is the goddess that gives birth to everything, and the house of spirit is the physical form. So the house of spirit is the body. So everything is connected to the body. She brings everything to the body. And that is the creator goddess, because you have Ra as the creator god, the masculine, and Hathor is the divine womb. And in different times of the year, they celebrate the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and then they come together. Now, Horan is the divine spirit that is in the body of Hathor. It's just so beautiful when you look at the words.
Beautiful. Absolutely. And it's all the same. You're talking about the crown and the chakra. I mean, they knew, the ancient Egyptians knew about the third eye. They drew it all over the walls, and the Kundalini. It's all about, that's what we're here for, is for raising the Kundalini. The whole purpose, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, if you're a Buddhist, if you're, it doesn't matter, Christian, our whole reason is to be here to raise our Kundalini to the pineal and then to the crown, to have enlightenment. And the ancient Egyptians knew this. They knew that because they've painted everywhere the Eye of Horus, isn't it?
Everywhere, and it's like the Eye of Horus is actually comes to Horus from Ra. So it's like Horus becomes enlightened. He's not enlightened in the beginning, but then he goes through this battle with Set, which is the battle with his ego self, and then when he sacrifices his left eye, so that is the egoic vision, the vision of the conditioning, to receive the all-seeing eye. And Iset is instrumental in that, because she actually asks for that quite forcefully. I may say in the pyramid text, she asks for that the eye of Ra goes to her son.
Sorry, 1 second.
No problem.
Okay, I will edit that part. Sorry, carry on.
So Iset is like a teacher and a mediator and an enabler and a path opener. So that is her role. She is standing there with Osiris. She puts Osiris together. She is a protector goddess. She protects Horus. She helps the awakening of the humankind. And she's a teacher who opens the path and invites us. So and is the love again. She's doing that through love. And one of her temples that is so beautiful on the Philae temple is actually Philae is a Greek word that means love. It's the temple of love.
Wow, that's so lovely. It really is. And so how her teachings are helping us now. And in your book you state that initiation into the mysteries were open to all. That's why you don't have to, each and every one of us, it's a personal awakening, isn't it? That's why, as you said, to go to sit, to go into your quiet space, to meditate, to connect by yourself and ask for this initiation, and they will come. But we must ask them, mustn't we? For them to come into our life. Yeah. Because and when we're ready, when we're ready, they say the teacher will appear.
That's right. It is a matter to ask from the heart and not of the ego, because sometimes people, I have seen it, they want the initiation, but it's like to then say I'm an initiate, and they don't go any further than that. It stays there. But the initiation is actually the beginning. Is for me is like crossing the threshold. You're given the energy, you're given the teachings, you're given, the support, but you have to walk the path. So the path starts with the initiation. Is the beginning and not the end of the process. So I think life can change after an initiation, but of course we can decide next day, I don't want to do anything more. I just don't want to be spiritual anymore or whatever. And that's fine too. It's our choice. But the initiation then doesn't really mean anything. So for me, an initiation is crossing that threshold into the higher vibrational state, into the awakened state, and then walking that path towards your divine self. You're going through gates of initiation. The ancient Egyptian temples, they have one is like the whole temple, and then is like one gate, and you go through that, and the next one, and you go through that, and you go through that, and through that. And that is like the process of the gates. And the teaching that she gave me, Isis gave me, is called the 7 gates of awareness. So you go through these gates that lead to your divine self.
And is that sort of the similar as the 7 chakras moving up?
No. He talks about the chakras as well, but the gates are different. He calls them portals of different vibrational fields that all have different qualities, and you go through this process through these portals. But yeah, she does talk about the chakras too. It's quite a complete system that it's like have folders and folders of it, and it's incredible. Because once you start to work with Isis in that way, for me, my experience is that you don't get many days off. But part of you also learns, evolves through that process. And it's so interesting how the knowledge comes. So she offers me the knowledge, and I write it down. And once I write her words, it's like I've known this all my life, but I never
remembering for you.
Yes, yeah. It's almost like I never knew it before you spoke it, but now it makes complete sense. Now I know it somehow. It's in my body. Yeah.
Yes, that's beautiful. In your past life, in the DNA of where we hold all of our past lives. That's just unbelievable, isn't it? And the mystery schools. So if people wanted to, we talked about how you can initiate yourself, but if they wanted to go further with their teachings, what would you suggest for them to go further?
So if you wish to go further and study the ancient mysteries, and walk the path, I do teach the 7 gates of awareness. We have a school called the Isis School of Holistic Health, and we have different programs. Now, some of the programs are more, telling you about the mysteries, what they were, the different, some of the key elements, and offering a spiritual practice. And that is for somebody who says, I love the information, I love the history, just help me, just raise my vibration, but don't tell me to meditate every day and do spiritual practice and ceremony. I can't commit, but I just love to connect. So that is something that I do, and we teach in the Isis School of Holistic Health through online webinars once a month. A key of the mysteries. It's an introduction, really. The book is wonderful because it's a transmission of light so many people have said to me, they read the book, they can only read 2 or 3 pages at a time. It's like not possible to read the whole chapter, because the light is coming and they have to stop. They like saying, I fall asleep, but in my sleep it's not a sleep. It's like a deep state of connection. It's like I can feel the energy just surging through the body, and it's like a transmission of light for those people who are in that place. That book can be so helpful. And
Wow.
then if you wish to walk the mysteries and you say, yes, I want to do it, then the initiation is offered. We do the programs. We start with a 3-day workshop that's called the Spiritual Path of Iset, Part 1. And we receive the initiation from Iset. And that's coming through my body. It's the most beautiful process.
Wow.
It's
That's
just the
good.
most wonderful, gorgeous process.
Mm.
And then I share the teachings, and there are so much, but we go step by step and we do the ceremonies, and it becomes a way of life to connect with the divine every day, or however time we have. Whether
That's
yeah.
beautiful. That's so beautiful. I'm like, I want to do it. I'm just like, oh my God. That's lovely. And in your book, you describe, you was talking about Atlantis. Yeah. And I mean, what would you say the issue was Atlantis? Was it because they had, it's like their technology overtook their spirituality, and ego prevailed?
Absolutely. I think you absolutely nailed it, Joanne. Absolutely nailed it, because this is exactly what the ancient Egyptians said, is that the people forgot about the sacred. Before it was a sacred life. Atlantis was built as Egypt became. The whole temple is like the heart of the land. The whole temple is where everything starts and everything ends. Even the food is taken to the temple to be blessed by the chants and then energized, and then people eat that food and drink that water. Everything starts from there. And in Atlantis, it became, the technology was amazing. And people thought at some point, forget about all these spiritual teachers and the sacred. We are gods, but we are gods in our divine sense when we are connected with our spirit. But when we are connected with our ego, we can be so destructive. And this is what happened when they started to interfere with the DNA and with the tree of life, as they describe in the text, the tree of life. When they started to threaten the existence of life on earth, that's when destruction came.
Yes. It's like they weren't allowed to be anymore.
Yeah.
Because yes, they did not live by the divine laws. They abused them. They abused the divine laws of the sacredness of life. Yes, that's just, wow, that's amazing, isn't it? And that's really so important to our world and what we're going through now. I think we're really at the precipice. I mean, I believe, and that's the name of the show, the Great Awakening show. I believe that we're always awakening, but I believe we're going through a quickening of this awakening. And, it's earth peace through self peace. We have to do the work on ourselves, and then we have to give that out to others. It's not like, the ancient yogis going into a cave for 50, 60 years and never giving that secret to enlightenment out to others. We can't do that now. We have to take our initiation and take our, enlightenment and our awakening and give that out and help others do the same.
Absolutely. This is not the time for some people. They might still want to go to the cave and be there and do the work and send the energy everywhere. But for many of us, the calling is to be on the earth, not to be nuns and monks and yogis and gurus somewhere. We
Right.
have to really do the work and be our own guru, our own healer, and really develop that, and then share it, and as you say, heal the disconnection within us. We were praying for peace on earth, to have peace on the earth, but we don't have peace inside of ourselves. And what we are having inside all this battle is what we see outside. So as within, so outside of us. And that ancient axiom is very much the tells us about the problem in our world. We have to heal ourselves and help others heal out of that karma and trauma that Atlantis created.
Yes.
Because that destruction of that world was a huge karma and huge trauma too. That was not seen in that way before. So we are still living through and recreating some of that karma, because you can see, okay, the same issues, we have the technology, we think we can do whatever we want, there is no morality, some of the science said, well, if I can do it, I'll do it. I don't care about the consequences. So we are really in that place. But the ancient Egyptians said something that is giving me so much hope. And that what they said is that the destroyer who came and destroyed Atlantis, Sekhmet, she's the destructive goddess. She really, destroyed as much as she could, because she was stopped to finish the job. She didn't destroy everything. Then she transforms into the healer. And that has great significance, because it means that now it's not that we should destroy the world and start again. We had to, everything started again, in Atlantis, after Atlantis. But now we do not start again. We have to heal. We have to transform. We have to transmute. It's a healing path and not a destruction path.
Exactly. And we are all healers. We just have to use the spiritual healing love light energy that is available to all of us. We have to use that and, channel that to heal ourselves, and then to give that out to the wider community and to humanity. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. And we are all healers. Really, we are all healers. And
we are.
Before I knew nothing. I didn't know how about Reiki, Egypt, the Egyptian healing. I didn't know anything. And it was like beginner's luck, but in some ways it showed me that I was a healer, and, everybody can do it. And
exactly.
It was like pull the light strongly with a very strong intention, and to do the healing work. And it was my the dog of my ex-parents-in-law, he had a tumor, and I visualized blue light. I actually saw the blue lights onto the image that I had of the dog. I visualized the dog, but the blue light I saw with my eyes. And the tumor the next day was a quarter of its size. And I had never done anything before. I knew nothing. I just read in a book, if you want to heal, visualize blue colors. That's what I did. And if we do it from the heart, with a pure intention, without any, agenda and ego, then we are divine beings of light. We are remembering.
That's so beautiful. And that's so true as well. That is so true. Honestly, Fotoula, thank you so much for bringing the mysticism of the ancient Egyptians alive in this show today, and for teaching us about Isis. And please, where can we read your book?
So the book is available everywhere in many booksellers. You can buy it on Amazon, Apple, all the booksellers. You can even find it some independent booksellers, maybe where you are, and you can also get the ebook if you like to read on Kindle or ebooks. So it's really available, and please, if you enjoy it, please let me know if you have any questions. I love to connect with people.
What's your website?
It's called the Isis School of Holistic Health.com.
Wonderful. Wow. I just want to say, Fotoula, thank you for being on the Great Awakening Show.
Thank you so much.